Have you ever felt like there's a vivid fire burning inside of you, yearning to break free and illuminate your life? That, my friend, is your vibrant life waiting to bloom. Welcome to the Vibrant Life Podcast. We are here to empower women just like you to liberate that vibrant life, to live authentically, and to harness the power within.
Our journey will take us through the enlightening realms of energy healing, goal setting, spiritual awakening, and so much more. We're stepping into the light of self-acceptance, of owning our power and potential.
If you have been yearning to dive headfirst into the world of entrepreneurship, or awaken your spirituality, or simply make peace with yourself, your search ends here at the Vibrant Life Podcast. As we embark on this enlightening journey together, we promise to hold your hand through every step of your journey to a more vibrant life.
Your adventure to true empowerment and authentic living begins here. Tap into the vibrant life you've always dreamed of. Subscribe now and join us at the Vibrant Life Podcast. Embrace your vibrant self. Until then, shine on.
Shine on.
Hello, welcome back to the Vibrant Life Podcast. We are so excited to have you with us. I am Cassie.
I'm Audrey.
And today we are talking about intuitive decision making at work.
Yeah.
So we talked about, we're having themes for the month. We have our plan, but it's going to be intuitive led. That's kind of how we're running Vibrant Life. And so our goal is to talk about intuitive decision making at work. If you listen to our last episode, it went in a direction neither of us were expecting, but I think it was a good direction. So
yeah, I think it worked out really well, but that was just it. We were listening to our intuition, and then as you were talking, I got called to talk about something else, and then you got called to talk about something else, and then we just ran with it. So now we're going to talk about how that kind of could apply to the business world.
To business.
Because we are entrepreneurs. And
I'm a business coach.
Coach.
We live in business. Yeah. So how do you apply your intuition to your workplace? And I think the first place to start is ask your intuition is if you're at the right spot. Yeah. Are you doing the right thing? Are you being called to do something else? And if you are, you don't have to quit your job today, but are you taking steps to move in that direction? We both felt like we weren't doing the right things. Mm-hmm. And so we started taking steps in that direction. And it's not something that has to happen overnight.
No,
definitely you ask yourself over and over, am I close or am I on the right track?
My first decision in leaving a job, I had worked for a hospital corporation for 18 years. I had no intention of leaving. Absolutely none. And so then all of a sudden it was, here's your sign. And I was out of there in 2 weeks. I had applied for a job. I had accepted a job, put in my notice within 2 or 3 days. And I was out of there after 18 years.
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts? But that was just the beginning of me tapping into intuition. And I was like, nope, this is not for me. So then I tried something else. I tried to manifest what I wanted the next job to look like. And it did look like that for a little bit. But then I had another period of, here's your sign, this is not the place to be. So then the next one took a bit longer because I wasn't a vibrational match for that next job. So I really took some time to put in what I wanted it to look like, what I wanted it to feel like. And so for me now, I'm in the job that I love so much and it feels exactly like I wanted it to. But then doing things with you, with Vibrant Life, I'm like, okay, where's this next direction happening? Because even though I have exactly what I manifested, I'm like, once you get in that niche,
what's next?
You're like, what's next? What else can I do?
Well, and I think it's important to point out, if I had come to you and you were still at your hospital job, would you have been ready for this?
Absolutely.
So,
nope.
Yeah. No, you would have been like, Cassie, you're crazy. Get out of here. No.
That's exactly
that's not me. That's not, and we wouldn't have been successful because you wouldn't have gone on this journey. So part of that is just, we want the world, we want everything right now, but your intuition is just this is your next step. Just
baby
do this.
steps.
Just do this.
Baby
this is what
steps.
we have to worry about
that's
right
just
now.
It. And you might not know what the baby step is. You're like, that doesn't necessarily make sense. Why would I do it that way? Right. But then later on, you're like, aha, I understand why I did things that way, because otherwise I wouldn't have gotten to this place that I am now.
Right. I can't tell you how many times I think past Cassie in a day.
Yeah.
There's so many things where I'm like, oh, thank God past Cassie did that. Just little things. Things. A big one. So after my divorce, my mom and I bought a house together and we lived there for several years and we were very happy. And one day I was just like, I'm supposed to move out. What? No, I love this house. this is good. This is fine. But I was just like, nope, I need to be moving out. And so we started doing that. And Gemma got into a school very close to where the apartment that I'm living in now. But we were looking at apartments for my mom. And we looked at a couple and we walked into the one she's in now. And I was just like, yep, this is where you need to be. This is the vibe. This is what you want. And I pushed her hard. Like I was trying to be so like, do what you want. But I was like, this is it. Like, you're supposed to do this. And so she chose that one. And then 2 months later, she broke her leg. And it's a good thing she's there because it's a 55 plus community. It's all, her whole apartment is handicap accessible. Like at our house, we would have had a hell of a time because she had a whole mother-in-law or like a whole suite. She had a whole apartment in the lower level. But to get her down there would have been a nightmare. And to get her up and then like, yeah. So it was one of those where I was like, oh, yeah, we were supposed to, like this timing, we weren't in a rush when we were making those decisions, but here we are now.
How amazing
and amazing is that? Is
like months before that you were like, I'm supposed to move now.
Yeah.
And it maybe didn't have anything to do with you, but had to do with getting your mother out of there.
Right. And it was like, so, and it wasn't overnight. I think that's something else that we should point out is like, I had that inclination. It took probably 4 or 5 months for us to like get the house ready and then for me to move out. And then, it took a couple more months for her to move out. And so like, there was like 7 months in between there and then 2 or 3 more months before she broke her leg. But it was like, thank God that you're here. Thank God that you have this apartment, It
all worked out exactly how it was supposed to.
Right. And it's like a block away from my older sister's work. So she could just pop in and help her with laundry over lunch and things. Like there was just so many things that I was like, wow, that's cool how that worked out.
Right. I feel like, okay, so this isn't talking about business. So we're totally jumping on another train here, which is okay. But like when my brother and I were shopping for his house, it was the same thing. As we were driving to the house that is his house, we felt it all the way. We were like, oh my gosh, look at this. He's in like the Drake neighborhood, if you know Des Moines. So there's like some really cool hilly areas. And so we're going over these hills and it's all tree lined and pretty and green. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is it. Before we'd even pulled in the driveway. And I had experiences like that before buying my house, buying my wedding dress. Like, there's those moments where you're like, this is it. Those big moments that you really know. So yeah, those things happen throughout your life, but you don't really, until you really fully tap into it, you don't understand like what exactly was happening on the other side for you to have those big moments.
Yes. So you can do that with work.
Yes.
So if you, are at a company and the larger decision is, are you supposed to work here? Yeah. Or if you're interviewing, is this the right? Or do you need to like push back a little bit? Like maybe they're lowballing you. Like that's something your intuition can kind of help you with.
Yes.
Because you got a read in that room. You got a read on the company when you were interviewing, whether you consciously took that in or not.
Yes.
But on a smaller scale, when you're in your position and you're at work, you can check in with your intuition and talk about, all the things. I do this a lot with project management. So when I'm putting together a project plan, like I like to start with all of the data, right? Like I'm like, I just need all the input. I need all the research. I need everything. And then we kind of intuitively put it together, or there is logic behind it. Like I'm not just saying like check out of your brain, but you can kind of do a gut check of like, what's the best team to assign this to, or is this the right time to bring this up in this meeting? Like just those little things that will help you. And then also another time that's been really helpful is like office politics, navigating politics, like checking in with who actually, like checking in with the people around you. Who do you need to vibe with?
Who do you not trust?
Who do you not trust?
Yeah, I had that a lot.
Yeah, we talked about that. I mean, a hospital is very politicky.
Yeah, very cliquey, catty.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my sign. That was my sign. These are not my people.
And this last project was actual politics for me, which was weird. Yeah. So learning who I could trust, who was going to say one thing to my face, but then go and I had one guy literally tried to stage a coup over this project. Like it was insane. It was the weirdest thing I've ever had happen. Like, yeah. And I had to call and be like, dude, that's fraud. Like you can't use the money that way. Anyway, it was so weird. But my gut was just like, watch out for that guy.
Watch out
like,
for him.
Watch out. That's not gonna go well.
Yeah.
So you can get those kind of vibes and use it at work. we talked a lot in the last episode about how Vibrant Life has been very intuitive led, even the creation of it, of, several years ago, I had this dream of creating a community of women who just wanted more out of life, whether that be, to be a more present parent, whether that be to start your own business, whether that is just you're lonely, because motherhood can be a very lonely, isolating stage in life. So I was like, I want this like online community, right? Of just to come and get filled up and bring like high vibes and good resources and all these things. And yeah, and I had never even considered bringing in someone else into it. And then it was just like, I think I need a partner. And that was very scary to me because this is my baby, right? Like this is another baby. I've kind of been nurturing it for years, this dream. And so I was like, okay, I'm really trusting Audrey. And I had to really check into your vibes of like, are we good here?
Yeah.
Is this good? And it hasn't, but it was right. And it was because we listened to those little moments along the way of being like, I said this last time of like, you were like, I feel like I want to nurture women. I want to, you just said my vision in different words and I was like, I'm supposed to teach. And I was like, oh, I'm supposed to have a partner.
Yeah.
Here you are. Look at that.
Right. Just like that. That's exactly how it came together, which is still crazy.
It's still crazy.
But we definitely used intuition through all those first little meetings where we put down what our vision was for Vibrant Life. And Cassie's really great at brainstorming. So sometimes I show up and I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm helping or hurting you, but I'm here. I need
your body double for my ADHD to get all my ideas out.
Right. And so I'm learning all about that, which is great. But yeah, you're so good at just coming up with ideas but you don't like to do any of the editing and things like that, right. Which I'm finding I have a talent for.
Right. You have fun.
It just flows and I enjoy it and it gives me something to do in the evenings instead of Netflix binge. Yeah. Which is great because that just, I don't know, it just brings more purpose to my day, which I love.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I don't like doing it.
Yeah.
So we're playing on each other's strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do it. I could do it, but I don't want to.
But the partnership is that where it's like, okay, I'm not feeling this today. Are you feeling this today? Because we were going to take pictures today and we both came today and we're like, I don't think so. In fact, I texted her this morning and I was like, I don't know. I'm running late. I overbooked myself. And all of a sudden I was so anxious. Well, Cassie was anxious and I didn't feel anxious until I tapped into her energy. So we've created this intuitive, knowing, the last time you came over, I was like, Cassie's wearing white shorts today. And I was wearing white shorts, but as I put them on, I knew we would both be wearing white shorts, but that's just we've tapped in so much that you can get maybe that information doesn't matter on whether you're wearing white shorts or not, but feeling the vibes out for what direction we're heading with the business is really helpful.
Yeah. And another thing we've started doing is we've started talking to our business as a person and tapping into her as a person. So our business has a name. Vibrant Life has a name. And we talk to her. And it's been really helping me in planning of I talked about her as my baby. So it's what do you need? What am I not giving you as your parent, as your person? Yeah. What am I not giving you? So as we created these, 52-week plans, it was okay, what are we wanting to talk about? What are you wanting to do? How are we going to grow? How can we nurture you? And that's been really cool. It's been, So actually I go to this energy healer. Her name is Fonda. And I think I've talked about her on this podcast. I love her. But she was like, you need to, name your business. And are you doing this? And I still I am just initially skeptical of all these things at the start. But within a half hour driving home, I texted Audrey. I was like, we need to name our business and this is her name.
Well, you gave me 3 names.
I gave you 3 and then I was like, this is the one I want. And then
but you didn't say that.
I didn't say that.
But we chose the same one.
We chose the same one.
We chose the same name.
I was like, this is what I want, but I should give her options. And so I did. I gave you options and they all looked the same. I didn't call one out. Yeah, but I was like, this is what I want to name her. And then you came back with the same one.
Yeah. Well, intuitively, and when we talked to her, I've got goosebumps again. We talked about in the last episode, using those intuitions. I always get goosebumps when I'm like, yes, this is right. This is what we're supposed to do. And so I want to talk about last week when you text me and you're like, I'm in the park. Do you have time? I was like, I've got 5 clients today and I'm running around. And all of a sudden I'm driving and I'm like, I have 15 minutes to go sit in the park with Cassie. And it just lined up. So I joined her in the park, and there was a water fountain in the trees.
It's beautiful.
And it was so beautiful, and the sun was peeking through. And I sat down and we pulled cards for our business. We called her out by name, and we got the most beautiful spread. So we were both totally lit up. And we're like, yes, this is what we're supposed to be doing.
It was so fun.
It was so fun. But that, like,
it was also intuitive.
It was intuitive. I listened to those little nudges on. And then it turned my whole day around. I was supposed to have this crazy day, and then it was the best day ever because I listened to my intuition. And just 15 minutes with Cassie, having my vibration be raised just that much, just made me feel so good the rest of the day. So,
well, even texting you, that was like, because I had this like, well, I was trying to have an intuitive day. So I woke up and I was like, okay, I have my plan. You guys know I love routines. If you've been here for any amount of seconds, you know I love planning and I love routines. So I was just going to go about my day. But then I was like, I feel like I need to go to a park. Like, weird. But I am an indoor cat, okay? Like, but Audrey was like, you need to ground. You need to, like,
that was the
commune
card
with
the
nature.
Week before. It was commune with nature. Over and over and over again.
Over and over. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go sit in a park, and I'm just going to, and so I went and did yoga in a park. It was fabulous. There were bugs, and I hated that part, but I suffered through it. But I did some yoga, and I did a meditation, and all these things that I'm just getting more comfortable with. But then I just, like, texted Audrey, and, like, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm in the park if you want to come. Like, that wasn't like a planned out thing.
No.
And then it needed to happen. So these little things, like, you don't know why you're doing it, but you're doing it, I feel like, are your intuition. And
yes,
the more you tap into it. So sometimes at work, bring it back to our actual plan, tapping into that, knowing sometimes it can be a nudge of, like, you need to go talk to this person about this.
Yes. You don't even know why you're doing it.
And you don't know why, but that might stack you up for a promotion later on.
Yes.
Meeting so-and-so. So this last project I met this lady at, like, a networking event. Like, I wasn't even looking for a project. And 3 months later, she called me. She's like, I think you'd be good for this. And I was like, okay.
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
And I was just telling Audrey, I felt called one day to reach out for a couple other projects. And right before we recorded this, I got a call on one of them. So it was just like, you don't have to have it all planned out. And I think that is refreshing or relieving. One of those R words.
I don't chase. I attract.
Yeah.
I don't chase. I attract.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're bringing in whatever good things you want.
Yeah. So if your intuition is your higher self, you're listening to that and you're creating these opportunities. Because if you say, I want to win $1 million, but you're not playing the lottery, or you're not building a business, or you're not doing anything to actually do that, the odds of that happening are very, very low. So it's not just like magic. It's not like, poof, there's a genie and it's going to do this. But tapping into your intuition will help you create the opportunities that are right for you.
Mm-hmm. I disagree. It is magical. It might not be poof. It happens right now, but I totally think it's magical.
There's some magic. There's some magic, sure.
It's definitely magical. But yes, that's just it. Like, I use it all the time as far as, like, it leads me back to, like, when I was bartering salary for this current role that I'm in. I didn't believe that I could get more than what I got, even though I did ask for more, but I didn't believe it. So I didn't put it out there that I really could do it. I did say I didn't want to make any less money, and I didn't make any less money. I'm making exactly the same, but I didn't really throw it out there. So this year, if my boss is listening to this, it's like, I want a raise this year, bigger than anyone else got, because I work really hard, and the numbers will show that. I'm sorry, ladies, if you're listening. I'm like, I threw it out there. I wrote it down, and then they gave me some extra responsibility, and I was like, well, with more responsibility comes more money, right?
Right.
So I threw it out there. I was like, why not? Why not? We'll see what happens.
But talking about tapping into your intuition, I feel like you can act with more confidence too, if you know it's the right thing. So the block to your intuition is self-doubt. And I mean, I think all of us struggle with that to some extent. But I think if I now in my 30s look back at Cassie in her 20s, she was very passive. She was very scared.
Yes.
And so I never asked for a raise. I would get promotions and I would still not get more money because they knew they didn't have to give it to me, damn it. And so it helps you act with confidence. So now going into things, I'm like, okay, if this was the right thing for me, they're going to pay me the money I want. That is a huge learning curve for me. But it didn't happen overnight. It was baby steps. But listening to that, and it all starts with just doing that next thing. But so I think to summarize and then not go down this huge rabbit hole, but tap into your intuition, figure out what it's trying to tell you to do, but then create or act, because that's creating the opportunities that are going to get you to that next level, to that thing you want.
Well, that's just it with manifesting. You're going to write down using I am statements, feel the thing you're bringing in before you act on it. But then you have to take baby steps, because the universe will meet you halfway, but you have to start in that direction before.
It's co-creation.
It's co-creation. That's exactly it. Lovely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
So co-create. Use your intuition and bring yourself whatever things you want in your career life.
Yes. So today at work, check in with yourself, figure out, what's the next step. We just want to challenge you. See where it takes you. See what new heights you can get to in your business, or where this journey is going to lead, because it's going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes things more fun.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
For sure. For sure.
Yep.
100%.
All right.
Okay.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you for tuning into the Vibrant Life podcast. We hope today's episode has energized and inspired you to live your best life. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so as to never miss an episode. And please take a moment to leave us a review. Your feedback fuels our mission to bring you more valuable content. Remember, your journey to Vibrant Life is ongoing. Stay connected with us on social media at Vibrant Life Society for daily tips, motivation, and community support. As we wrap up today's conversation, we encourage you to embrace each moment, pursue your passions, and prioritize your well-being. Together, let's create a life that radiates with energy and purpose. Until next time, live vibrantly. See you in our next episode.